You've wasted enough time waiting for others to treat you right. Now it's time to treat yourself right. Because the harsh truth is, no one is coming to save you. No one is going to heal you. No one is going to hand you your worth. That's your job. Focus on you until you win is a straightforward and honest approach to changing yourself, not by being flawless, but by putting yourself first. This book doesn't talk about theory. It's about being honest. It's about breaking cycles, letting go of what hurts, and finally choosing you, even if you have to do it alone for a while. This isn't about getting back at someone. It's not about showing them they're incorrect. It's about taking back your tranquility, your purpose, and your strength. If you're sick of getting lost in other people, this is your plan to ascend if you're done shrinking, settling, and second-guessing. Let's break it all out, step by step, one truth at a time. This is your chance to focus on you, till you win. Chapter 1. You come first now. You've been showing up for everyone, except yourself. You've answered late-night calls. You've been the shoulder to cry on. You've forgiven when you were the one bleeding. You've stayed when you should have walked away. You've spent love, loyalty, time, and energy into people who didn't even think twice about you when they got what they needed. And deep down, you know it. There were moments you grieved silently, moments you pleaded for someone to see how exhausted you were, not physically, but emotionally drained. Still, you showed up. Still, you gave. Because that's what you were taught, that love means giving, even when you have nothing left. But let's pause right there, because now it's time for a shift, a full makeover. This season of your life is not about people-pleasing, demonstrating your worth, or bending till you break. This season is about you, your healing, your bliss, your growth, your vision, your energy, your bounds. You come first today, and not just in words, but in action. And let's be clear, that doesn't make you selfish. It makes you whole. It makes you real. It makes you fully conscious that you were never created to live life permanently empty merely to keep others full. Because you can't help someone if you're drained. You can't lead if you're lost. You can't love from a state of deprivation. You're not abandoning them. You're just finally choosing not to abandon yourself. It starts with the tiny things, saying no without guilt, taking rest without apology, creating space for your ambitions, reclaiming your mornings, letting go of folks who always take but never offer. It starts with questioning yourself daily. What do I need today? What would honoring myself look like right now? Am I sacrificing my peace just to keep the peace? Because here's the reality. If you don't select you, you'll keep getting chosen last. You'll keep giving up the pieces of you that were designed to grow. And let's be honest, they grew used to the version of you that didn't establish boundaries. They became comfortable with the you that over-delivered, stayed silent, kept peace at the sacrifice of your own well-being. But that version is retiring. That version is no longer on call. Now, you're protecting your energy like your life depends on it, because it does now. You're no longer proving your value, you're living it. Now, you're done explaining why you're choosing yourself, because your peace doesn't require permission. This is your time to rise quietly, boldly, fearlessly. This is your chance to realign, refocus, and rebuild you from the inside out. So remember this, the instant you pick yourself is the time your life starts to transform. The moment you stop asking for crumbs is the moment you start nourishing your soul. You come first now, and that's not ego. That's evolution. Chapter 2. Stop loving people who drain you. Let's get honest. Some of the hardest lessons you'll ever learn won't come from strangers. They'll come from the people you once gave everything to. You loved them, you showed up, you bent, adjusted, sacrificed, you gave parts of yourself that you never even had to begin with. You convinced yourself that if you loved them hard enough, if you were patient enough, if you just held on a little longer, they'd finally see your worth. But they didn't. And now, here you are. Exhausted, emotionally bankrupt, questioning what's wrong with you, when really, you were just loving someone who never deserved that version of you in the first place. Read that again. You were loving someone who was draining you, not feeding you. You weren't in love. You were in survival mode. You kept trying to fix things that were breaking you. You kept holding space for people who would never even meet you halfway. You confused chaos with passion, inconsistency with mystery, and pain with patience. But real love doesn't feel like anxiety. It doesn't make you beg for clarity. It doesn't leave you wondering where you stand every night before you fall asleep. You're not crazy. You're not too sensitive. You're not asking for too much. You're just finally realizing that what you were calling love was actually self-betrayal. Let that sink in, because the truth is, if someone constantly leaves you confused, they don't respect you. If someone only loves you when it's convenient, that's not love. If someone drains your spirit, makes you feel small, manipulates your kindness, they are not your person. And yet, you kept loving them. Not because you're weak, but because you're loyal. Because you saw the potential, because deep down, you believed you could be enough to make them change, but you can't love someone into being ready. You can't heal someone who refuses to grow. You can't fix someone who benefits from being broken, especially if they're breaking you in the process. It's time to stop trying to prove your worth to people who would rather lose you than level up. You're not here to be half-loved. You are not here to teach someone how to treat you like a human being. You're not here to accept emotional crumbs and call it dinner. If someone can only love you on their terms, when they're in the mood, when it's easy, when it costs them nothing, that's not a relationship. That's emotional convenience. So here's the shift. You stop chasing. You stop explaining. You stop shrinking just to be seen. And you start choosing peace over passion, clarity over confusion, love that heals over love that hurts. Because here's what nobody tells you: you don't need someone to complete you. You need someone who doesn't compete with your peace. And until that person shows up, you choose you. You block the number. You stop checking the phone. You unfollow the patterns. You walk away without clapping back, not because you're weak, but because you're done bleeding for people who wouldn't even hand you a bandage. This is your moment to reclaim your energy, to love yourself the way you kept loving them. You don't lose anything by walking away from someone who made you question your worth. You win yourself back. And that's the most powerful love story of all. Chapter 3. Heal. Whether you get closure or not. Healing is not waiting for someone to say sorry. It's not waiting for the texts, the explanations, or the moments that might never come. You've certainly sat in that position, stuck, hoping, waiting, clinging onto a thread of closure that feels like a lifeline. The reality is, sometimes, closure isn't coming. Sometimes, those who harm you don't even understand the damage they caused. Sometimes, you won't get an apology or an explanation that makes sense. And that's a difficult thing to swallow. But here's the terrible truth: your healing cannot depend on their actions. It cannot depend on someone else's willingness to admit responsibility or to change. Healing is your duty, no one else's. You have to make the decision to heal, even when you're still hurt, even when the wounds are fresh, even when the silence is deafening. Because clinging on to pain while hoping for closure simply leaves you locked in the past. It ties you to a story that no longer serves you. It keeps your heart captive to someone who may never show up the way you want them to. You deserve freedom. Freedom to move forward, freedom to breathe without anguish wrenching your chest, freedom to grin again without guilt. And here's what helps. Closure doesn't imply forgetting what happened. It doesn't imply excusing what was done to you. Closure is a choice to release your hold on the suffering and start living anew. You don't have to forgive to recover. Forgiveness is a gift you offer yourself when you're ready, not a duty. Start by establishing space for yourself. Journal your feelings. Talk to someone you trust. Seek therapy if you can. Learn new methods to cope and gain strength. Healing looks like saying, I am more than my past. I am bigger than this hurt. I refuse to let someone else's actions define my future. It's messy. It's painful. It's not linear. Some days you'll feel like you're going steps backward, but every instant you choose healing over hurt, you're reclaiming your power. Waiting for closure is like holding a door open for someone who walked away, but you don't have to wait for them to return. You are permitted to close the door and keep heading toward your calm, because your serenity is more important than their apology. And in time, you'll know. The only closure you actually need is the one you offer yourself. Chapter 4. Raise your standards. It's time to be brutally honest with yourself. For far too long, you've been settling. You've accepted bits of attention. You've tolerated disrespect disguised as love. You've been silent when you deserved to speak up. You've lowered your expectations because you were terrified of being alone, afraid of disappointing others, or just afraid of change. But settling is a trap. It's the adversary of your potential. You believe you're being loyal, but really, you're being terrified. You're terrified to ask for more. Scared to walk away. Scared to confess that you deserve better. Here's the reality nobody wants to scream loud enough. Settling is the reverse of self-love. When you settle, you tell yourself a lie. This is all I deserve. You remark, I can't do better. You convince yourself, maybe this is love. But deep, your heart knows better. Raising your standards doesn't entail being arrogant or impossible to please. It means valuing yourself enough to demand respect, kindness, and honesty. In every relationship, every friendship, every work, and every interaction, it involves refusing to accept someone's apologies if their actions don't change. It means saying no to situations that sap your energy, and yes, to opportunities that enrich your soul. Raising your standards involves putting yourself on the top of your own priority list, not as a punishment to others, but as a commitment to yourself. Think about it. If you don't set the bar for how you want to be treated, others will set it for you. And trust me, that standard is frequently a lot lower than what you genuinely deserve, and you don't have to explain your boundaries, you don't have to defend why you won't tolerate rudeness. You just have to hold firm. Imagine the power in that. Imagine waking up every day knowing you're living life on your own terms, with people who see your worth, occupations that challenge you, and friendships that drive your delight. Raising your standards isn't simple. It takes bravery to say no. It takes strength to walk away. It needs faith to think something greater is coming. But here's the promise. The instant you refuse to settle, your world starts to shift. Doors open that you never saw before. People show up in your life who genuinely deserve you. And you start becoming the person who no longer takes anything less than the absolute finest. So today, make a choice and look in the mirror and say, I deserve more. I am worth more, and I will no longer settle for less. Because settling isn't loyalty. It's dread disguised as comfort. And fear doesn't belong in your tail anymore. You're not simply boosting your expectations, you're raising your life. Chapter 5. Protect your peace like it's sacred. Peace is one of the most valuable things you can have. Yet, it's also one of the easiest things to lose. Think about how often you've sacrificed your peace just to avoid conflict, just to keep people happy, just to avoid being that person. You've swallowed your feelings. You've stayed quiet when you should have spoken. You've tolerated toxic conversations, disrespectful behavior, and emotional drama, all because you didn't want to rock the boat. But here's the hard truth, and if you keep giving your peace away, you'll never find your power. Peace isn't just silence or calm. Peace is freedom. It's a boundary. It's a state of mind where you feel safe, valued, and whole. And peace is sacred. It's your refuge when the world feels too loud. It's your reset button when chaos threatens to take over. It's the quiet space where you remember who you really are, beyond the noise, beyond the pain, beyond the people who drain you. Protecting your peace means saying no without guilt. It means walking away from conversations that leave you unsettled. It means cutting off the energy vampires who always take but never give. Protecting your peace means you no longer tolerate manipulation, guilt trips, or disrespect disguised as concern. It's about learning to listen to your soul's whispers, those quiet warnings that tell you something isn't right, even if your head tries to convince you otherwise. It's about choosing rest over exhaustion, healing over hurt, and self-respect over approval. Remember this: not everyone deserves access to your energy. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Not everyone deserves your time. You don't have to explain why you're protecting yourself. You don't have to justify the boundaries you set. Real peace comes when you stop seeking permission to prioritize your well-being. Think about how much better life would be if your energy was guarded like gold, untouchable by negativity, untouched by drama, unbreakable by chaos. You'll start noticing the difference instantly. Your mind will be clearer, your heart will be lighter, your spirit will breathe. Protecting your peace isn't just a choice, it's a revolution. A revolution against anything or anyone who tries to steal your calm. So, start today. Turn off the noise, say no to the unnecessary. Create space for what truly matters. Your peace is not negotiable. It's your birthright. Protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. Chapter 6. You don't need their validation. For too long, you've been living for the approval of others, waiting for someone to say you're enough, searching for likes, compliments, and reassurances like they were oxygen. But here's the truth: nobody told you. You don't need their validation to know your worth. You were born whole, complete, valuable. No one else's opinion can add to that or take it away. When you constantly seek validation, you give your power away. You let others hold the remote control of your emotions and your self-esteem. You let their words define your reality. But what if you flipped the script? What if you decided today that your opinion of yourself is the only one that matters? You don't have to wait for a text, a call, or a compliment to feel good about yourself. You don't need an audience to approve your choices or validate your feelings. Confidence comes from inside. It's built by the way you treat yourself when no one's watching. It's built by honoring your boundaries, speaking your truth, and choosing your peace. When you stop chasing validation, you stop being a reflection of others' opinions. Instead, you become the author of your own story. That's freedom. That's power. That's real self-love. Chapter 7. Pain isn't the end. It's the start. Pain feels like an ending. A door slamming shut on everything you thought life would be. Heartbreak, betrayal, disappointment. These wounds cut deep. They shake your foundation. They make you question who you are and what's possible. But pain doesn't have to be the end of your story. It can be the beginning. Every scar you carry is proof that you survived, that you endured, that you're still here, still fighting. Pain is a teacher in disguise. It shows you what needs healing, what needs releasing, and what you must protect moving forward. And instead of letting pain break you, choose to let it build you. Use your pain as fuel to rewrite your future. Use it to sharpen your vision, strengthen your spirit, and deepen your self-awareness. Pain humbles you, but also awakens you. It forces you to confront your limits and then push beyond them. Your past wounds do not define you. Your comeback will. When you embrace your pain and allow it to transform you, you become unstoppable. You're no longer a victim of your story. You become its hero. Chapter 8. Redefine what self-love means. Self-love is one of those cliches everyone throws about, but very few fully comprehend what it means below the surface. It's easy to think self-love is about taking bubble baths, sharing nice quotations on Instagram, or reminding oneself, "You're amazing," every once in a while. But real self-love reaches considerably deeper than that. True self-love requires making tough decisions, setting solid boundaries, and occasionally saying no to people and things you care about, not because you don't love them, but because you respect yourself enough to safeguard your well-being. It means showing up for yourself even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. How often have you stayed in a relationship that drains you because you thought love demanded sacrifice? Or pushed yourself to satisfy others while ignoring your own needs? That's not self-love. That's self-neglect disguised up as devotion. Real self-love requires being honest with yourself about what serves you and what doesn't, and having the guts to make changes even when your feelings want to cling to what's familiar. Self-love needs discipline. It's selecting therapeutic activities when your heart wants to shut down. It's maintaining yourself accountable to your goals even when motivation diminishes. It's forgiving oneself for mistakes and refusing to let previous failures determine your future. It also requires learning to listen to your own voice over the clamor of others' opinions and demands. You don't need to explain or defend why you chose yourself. Your peace is your priority, and that's non-negotiable. When you redefine self-love, it becomes a powerful force that promotes growth, resilience, and real happiness. It changes from a feel-good concept into a radical act of survival and empowerment. This sort of self-love builds you up from the inside, making you stronger, smarter, and ready to confront the world on your terms. So don't settle for surface-level self-love. Dig deeper. Commit to loving yourself fiercely and honestly. Even when it's hard. Because when you truly love yourself, you create a foundation that no one can shake. Chapter 9. The time is now. Not later. How many times have you told yourself, "I'll start tomorrow," or "I'll wait until I'm ready"? We all fall into this trap of postponing our dreams and healing, thinking there's some great moment waiting for us in the future. But the truth is, the perfect moment doesn't exist. If you keep waiting for things to be just right, the fear to disappear, the stars to align, or someone else to give you permission, you'll continue stuck in the same position. The only thing waiting for you is more waiting. The moment to start is now. Not next week, not after you get that one more thing done, not once you feel less terrified. Starting now involves embracing imperfection. It involves taking flawed action instead of waiting for perfect conditions. It is choosing progress over procrastination, boldness over comfort. Think about your dreams, your goals, your healing path. What is it costing you to wait? Every day you postpone is a day lost to self-doubt, discomfort, or missed chances. Imagine if you had started a year ago, or even a month ago. How much further could you be? What doors might have opened? How much closer would you be to serenity or success? Starting today doesn't mean you won't face problems. It means you're willing to turn up despite them. It means you're eager to learn, grow, and adapt as you move forward. Momentum is a powerful thing. The hardest part is frequently taking that first step. But once you do, you'll notice the road becomes easier. Every modest move generates confidence, clarity, and strength. So today, take that initial step. Write that objective down. Make that phone call. Schedule that appointment. Begin the therapeutic practice you've been putting off. Don't wait for someday. Your moment is now. Because your life won't wait. Chapter 10. Leave your comfort zone behind. Comfort zones are snug, familiar, and safe, but they're also cages. When you stay inside that bubble, you maintain your life predictable yet stagnant. No growth happens in comfort. No breakthroughs happen in routine. If you want a different life, one filled with greater peace, purpose, and power, you have to venture outside what's comfortable. Leaving your comfort zone feels terrifying for a reason. Fear is your brain's way of shielding you from the unknown. But the unknown is exactly where growth lives. It involves attempting new things, making mistakes, failing forward, and learning as you go. It is risking rejection, embarrassment, or discomfort for the possibility to become more. Maybe it's speaking your truth in a difficult conversation. Maybe it's starting that business you've been dreaming about. Maybe it's setting limits with folks you've tolerated for too long. Maybe it's pursuing a hobby that feels risky or odd. Whatever it is, the route to your best self runs directly through discomfort. Remember, every great success story includes moments of doubt and hardship. The difference is they didn't let fear stop them. You'll find your strength rises when you address your anxieties head-on. Your confidence rises every time you walk into the unknown and learn you can handle more than you expected. Leaving your comfort zone isn't a one-time jump. It's a daily commitment to doing what's unpleasant because it's important. It's showing up for oneself even when it's simpler to be silent or still. So make a pledge to yourself. No more hiding, no more shrinking, no more settling for easy. The world wants the real, authentic, growing you, and that you only shows up when you dare to venture beyond the familiar. Chapter 11. Focus creates power. Focus is your greatest weapon, but it's also your greatest responsibility. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. If you scatter your focus on distractions, negativity, and people who don't deserve your time, you waste your most valuable resource. Imagine what happens when you deliberately focus on yourself, your healing, your goals, your growth. Suddenly, everything else falls into place. Your energy is clearer, your mind sharper, and your motivation stronger. Focus isn't just about doing more. It's about doing what matters. It means saying no to distractions, toxic relationships, and the constant pull of other people's drama. It's about protecting your mental space like a sacred temple. When you focus on yourself, you stop being reactive. You start being intentional. Every action becomes aligned with your vision. Think of focus like a magnifying glass in the sun. Scattered light does nothing. But when all rays concentrate in one spot, it creates intense heat that can burn down obstacles. The power of focus transforms you from a victim of circumstance into a creator of your reality. It fuels discipline, ignites creativity, and builds resilience. So, stop giving your energy away to things that drain you. Stop worrying about people who don't respect your time. Stop letting fear distract you. Shift your focus inward. Put yourself at the center of your world. Prioritize your peace, your progress, and your purpose. That focus is unstoppable. That focus is power. Chapter 12. Walk away without looking back. Walking away is one of the hardest things you'll ever do. It feels like losing a part of yourself, breaking promises you made, or admitting defeat. But sometimes, walking away is the most courageous act you can take. Not because you're weak, but because you finally respect your worth enough to say, "This no longer serves me. I deserve better." Walking away means releasing the need to control outcomes or force people to change. It means accepting that some chapters have to end for your story to continue. It's about setting boundaries that protect your heart and your future. When you walk away, you don't have to carry the weight of guilt, regret, or the temptation to return to what hurts you. You don't owe anyone explanations or justifications. You only owe yourself the freedom to choose peace over pain. Walking away is a declaration. I choose me. I choose healing. I choose growth. It's the first step toward reclaiming your life from toxic cycles. It's not about looking back or wondering, what if? It's about trusting that your future is bigger than your past. You walk away with your head held high, knowing that true strength isn't about holding on, but knowing when to let go. Chapter 13. Turn survival into strategy. Surviving hardships takes strength, but thriving after hardship takes vision. You've survived betrayal, loss, disappointment, moments that broke you but didn't destroy you. Now it's time to turn survival into strategy. This means using your pain as a blueprint to build a better future. Instead of letting scars hold you back, use them as maps to navigate your next moves. Survival is reactive. Strategy is proactive. It's about learning from the past without being trapped by it. It's about planning your growth, setting clear goals, and taking intentional action. When you turn survival into strategy, you transform from a victim into a victor. You stop living in defense mode and start building your empire, brick by brick, day by day. This shift requires courage, patience, and discipline. It means developing habits that support your goals and relationships that uplift you. It means being honest about what you want and what you won't settle for. Every scar you carry is proof of your resilience. Now let that resilience become the foundation of your success. You're not just surviving anymore. You're designing the life you deserve. Chapter 14. The comeback is personal. A comeback isn't about showing off or proving people wrong. It's not about revenge or validation. The actual comeback is extremely personal. It's about proving to yourself that you're stronger than your challenges. Every time you choose healing over hurting, development over grudges, peace over agony, you're winning. Not because life is perfect, but because you refuse to stop. This comeback belongs to the version of you that stayed awake during the darkest nights, who held on when everything told you to let go. It's for the part of you that hoped in a brighter tomorrow, even when optimism felt unreachable. The return is messy. Some days you feel like you're moving forward, other days you feel stuck. But progress is progress, no matter how gradual. You're not defined by your setbacks. You're characterized by your ability to rise again, to rebuild, to rewrite your tale. This is your opportunity to retake your power, to rework the story from suffering to purpose, to show up for yourself with unflinching faith and love. A true comeback doesn't happen immediately. It's formed by daily choices. The minor successes, the tough conversations, the moments when you stand up for your worth. Remember, this isn't about anyone else's time frame or expectations. It's about your journey, your healing, and your growth. So cherish every step forward. Be patient with yourself. Keep moving. Because your return isn't just a chapter in your life, it's the new story you're building. Chapter 15. You win when you choose. You winning doesn't always look like prizes or acclaim. Sometimes winning is quiet, personal, and unseen to others. You win when you quit chasing love that hurts. When you quit justifying your worth to people who don't see it. When you finally select yourself, your mind, your peace, your ambitions, your spirit. Choosing you means putting your needs first without shame. It entails setting boundaries that protect your energy. It involves walking away from what no longer benefits you. You win when you learn to say no, to heal, to grow, even when it's hard. You win when you wake up every day resolved to being the best version of yourself, no matter what challenges come your way. This kind of win is the most potent since it can't be taken away by anybody else. It's founded on self-respect, self-love, and resilience. So focus on you till you win. Until the voice of doubt grows quiet and the confidence inside you roars louder. Until your serenity becomes your strongest weapon and your happiness your greatest victory. Remember, the greatest accomplishment is living a life true to yourself. Your journey to victory. You've heard the truths, you've confronted the hard realities. Now it's time to live them. Your route to victory isn't about luck or waiting for someone else to fix your life. It's about getting up every day and choosing yourself. Choosing your serenity over anguish, your progress over comfort, your future over your past. You have all you need inside you right now: strength, courage, resilience, and value. The only thing left is action. Start where you are. Take that initial step, no matter how minor. You'll stumble, you'll question, you'll feel terrified. That's normal. But each time you ascend, you're closer to the life you deserve. Keep your attention, protect your peace, love yourself fiercely, because the ultimate accomplishment is not getting someone else's favor, it's winning your own heart. So focus on you till you win. And when you do, the world will feel your strength. Your story is just beginning. Make it legendary.